Hey, what's going on? Welcome to the Doug.Show. My name's Doug Cunnington, and in this episode, I'm going to talk to Jesse Lakes from GeniusLink about specifically noting your links, your affiliate links as sponsored. And this was sort of spawned by Google mentioning how links need to be attributed in specifically like saying they are sponsored links. And there's some, I would say, light controversy about how we should view this. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So Jesse, how are you?
I'm doing well. Yeah, some controversy. This is going to be a good conversation.
So for the people that don't know you at all, can you give just a quick intro about who you are and what you do?
Sure. So I am the co-founder and CEO of GeniusLink. GeniusLink is a link management platform focused on Amazon's affiliate program, and I help affiliate marketers make more money.
Awesome. And people can listen to several of the other episodes that you've been on. We'll link those up in the show notes and description here, and they can learn more about you personally and some other topics that we've covered in the past, of course. So I'm going to throw this over to you, Jesse, and let you explain, why this is even a conversation that we're having right now. And I'll sort of guide you and say, can you tell us like what Google did to make us even think about this? And then we'll sort of branch out into the specifics and how it impacts affiliate marketers like us.
Sure. Yeah. So in the world that we live in, right? Web marketers, web affiliate marketers that looking to earn revenue from commissions. Yeah, there's kind of two general overlords, right? There's Google, which is in charge of your traffic, and there's Amazon, which is in charge of your monetization. And as good entrepreneurs, web entrepreneurs, we need to kind of abide by the rules of both those. And for the most part, that's relatively easy, right? Amazon has some things they talk about, and Google has some things they talk about. And as long as we follow Google's rules and suggestions, for the most part, our traffic should hopefully increase. And as long as we, don't do something stupid and make Amazon mad, we're able to kind of monetize that traffic through the affiliate commission. So that's kind of our general situation here. Taking that a step further back, just like Amazon asks you to have your note that it's an affiliate link to make the FTC happy, and mention that you're an Amazon affiliate to make Amazon's compliance team happy. Google also has other signals that you're supposed to be sending as well, right? Part of the whole SEO strategy is just kind of following Google's rules, et cetera. And Google has all these different hints about how things should be done, et cetera. Use your H1s the right place, H2s. But there's this whole thing about how to tag your links, and kind of the most popular one was this whole rel equals no follow. That's been around for a decade plus, and that was kind of the attribute we were supposed to add to our. It's called the href tag, right? The link tag inside of our links to kind of help Google understand when these were affiliate style links, when Google shouldn't attribute some of your link juice in that direction. I'm sorry, throwing out some of these terms that those that dabble in SEO probably understand. Those that don't, my apologies. I'm sure there's more technical terms as well. I haven't dabbled deeply in SEO in quite some time, but I still know that getting these attributes is a pretty important part, again, to making sure that where those worlds combine between Google and Amazon, there's not really conflict. So for the longest time, rel equals no follow. As long as you had that in your affiliate links, life was good. You were fine. But things have changed. Google has kind of upped their game to some degree, and there's a couple new ones. So there's this rel equals sponsored, and this rel equals UGC, UGC standing for user-generated content. And again, Google wants you to be a good web citizen and mark your links as such so that their crawlers better understand how to credit these links coming through. The challenge here now, though, comes from the rel equals sponsored. There was some strong hints from Google not too long ago that they really want affiliate links to have an attribute of not no follow, but sponsored. No follow seems to be fine. I guess that should be important to say, is that if your affiliate links continue to have no follow, you're fine. That's, I guess, the TLDR of this conversation. But to really follow Google's guidelines, and Google's guidelines or hints typically become their guidelines in the longer term. It's a hint at this point. They're asking for that rel equals sponsored. Sure, makes sense until you dig deep into Amazon's operating agreement for their affiliate program, where they specifically say you can't embellish the relationship you have with Amazon. And in part of that paragraph, they specifically mention the word sponsored. So if you're reading it at the highest level, Amazon says, no, you can't say you're sponsored. And Google's saying, yes, please tell us that you're sponsored. And obviously those two things conflict. So which overlord wins here? Is there something going on there? I'll take a breath there.
Okay. There was a great explanation. And if people were having a hard time following along specifically with certain tags and what we're exactly talking about, you do have a blog post over at the GeniusLink blog where it obviously spells it out in actual text so you can see these different attributions, what they used to look like, what they would look like, and all the details there. So before I ask a couple questions here, I will say that by the time that I got into affiliate marketing, it was like 2013 or so, Google was already pretty smart and they knew when you had a link that was an affiliate link. And I've never put a no follow on my affiliate links because Google can figure it out. They know it's going to like a product page on Amazon or whatever. And it has all these different sort of tags and tracking. So I'm pretty sure Google knows what the affiliate links are. That said, best practice would be to put no follow on there, and some of the tools, out there do it. But I've never used one in general, the no follow tag. Mm-hmm. So when this information came out, I was like, oh, that's interesting. I am going to continue not doing anything just because, I'm a little bit lazier in some ways, and I've stopped freaking out when new information comes out like this. So was that a dog over there?
Yeah, we have the black lab sleeping right behind me. I think she just woke up from a dream. Sorry about that.
That's all right. I love it when dogs dream. Georgie often barks and yelps and stuff. So
yeah, the little twitching feet is one of the cutest things in the world.
And what's that dog's name?
This is Fern.
Fern? Does Fern
the black lab.
Does Fern sleep like right with you all day long?
She stays pretty close. Yeah. She's a big fan of, well, especially when I do a lot of one-on-ones, I go for walks. So she needs to be at my feet to know that it's time to do a one-on-one with one of my team members so that she can be ready to go. Yeah. So it's very strategic that she sleeps. Yeah. Now she's moving to sleep right on my feet. So yeah.
It's perfect. It keeps your feet warm. So that's
absolutely
good. All right, we'll try to keep Fern quiet over here. We're trying to run a podcast. I'm just kidding. So it's great to have dogs on the show, even if it's not my own. Okay, so I haven't done anything different because of this, because I am, like I said, a little bit lazy, and I assume that Google probably knows that these are affiliate links, and I don't, personally, I'm not thinking there's going to be any issue with it in the short or sort of long term. However, one should, look at the information, the user, the webmaster guidelines in this case, and other information around it to make a decision on your own. Okay, so I'll stop here for a second. Any thoughts on what I just said, Jesse? Have you heard other people be pretty casual about this too?
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. Google does amazing things, right? This is, again, kind of a bit of antiquated knowledge, but at one point there was over like 300 different hints about how important and how much link juice should flow through a link. So if you're missing 1 out of 300, right, that's doesn't really matter. So you're absolutely right that Google probably wants more people to follow these, but it's not a hard and fast rule by any means. In theory, everyone doing it makes things a little bit easier for the different crawlers out there. Google seems to be doing just fine with their crawler or their search engine for the most part. But that being said, if you have the time and the energy and you are really gung-ho on making sure your SEO is as good as it can be, making sure you have the right attributes in your links may be that little nudge to get you from page 2 to page 1 or from rank 2 to rank 1. I can't say that, but again, it's Google recommends it.
Okay. And another thing, like you said, some people are looking at this in a very literal sense. So we'll give a shout out to Matt over at AmaLinks Pro, and he has a blog post that is sort of in opposition to sort of the view that we have, right? So,
and just to follow up on that, we think very highly of Matt. We think very highly of AmaLinks Pro, and definitely appreciate him putting out that blog and that information. He's a great guy. But
yes,
we disagree.
Perfect. Yeah,
it's not for the first time.
And I think, in this case, like I said, we'll link up so you can go read what the AmaLinks Pro interpretation of this is. And I tend to, not agree with Matt either. He's been on the show before too, so we're all friendly and everything. So, on that note, I guess can you talk about when you saw Matt's post and that sort of thing, just what you thought and why you've arrived at a different conclusion?
Absolutely. So, after a decade of running GeniusLink, we've built quite the network of experts in the affiliate realm, and fortunately, we have relatively easy access to some of these experts as well. So after doing some research on our side, it was important that we had a clear answer for our clients that were asking a very similar question. So we did some very thorough research and got some very clear-cut answers that aligned. They weren't contradictory as sometimes they are when you're trying to research a deep subject. And the gist is that Amazon's rules about embellishing that relationship, not mentioning or sponsored, are very important to follow. But those rules apply to words on a page, not to code. When you have rel equals sponsored in the code of a page, that is not what's being reviewed when the Amazon compliance team is looking at your account, looking at your website. So as long as that sponsored is part of the code, which the href tag is inside your page, you're perfectly fine. You can abide by Google's recommendations, and you can keep Amazon happy as long as rel equals sponsored is in code. As soon as you say sponsored in Amazon in close proximity, that's when you're getting yourself closer to getting in trouble or in trouble.
So if it's in code, you could say, sponsored, you're going to be in good shape. And it sounds like, just to extend that further, you said Amazon is reviewing what is on the page visibly, not the code specifically, right?
That's a great question. I can't definitively say everything they review. From my understanding, the review that they're doing specifically around that embellishment is not in code. So I'm sure they look at your code as well, because that's where they're finding the tags. I don't know Amazon's compliance process. I tried to learn. I'm a student of it as much as possible, but I can't definitively say what they do and don't do, or how they do it, or why they do it.
I was just trying to figure out if I could write mean stuff about Jeff Bezos in the code without getting in trouble. So, okay, well, I'll have to figure out a different way to do it then. Okay.
You don't want your space ride, do you?
So basically, as long as, and again, we'll point people towards the blog post that you have, but basically, if you put the rel equals sponsored, you're going to be okay. Amazon is not going to say you are implying that Amazon is sponsoring your website, correct?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep. Simple as that. Yeah, we can keep that one
straightforward.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. Now, are there any other implications around this specific topic here?
Again, it's best use, to have it or don't have it. I'm sure there's lots of websites like your own that don't have any rel, attributes in their links. But if you can do it and do it right, it may be that little thing that bumps you up in the SEO, but it's probably not worth losing sleep over. What's more important, is obviously making sure that you're abiding by Amazon's, rules for not getting kicked out of their program, their operating agreement, not doing stupid things. So yeah. Keep both those overlords happy, and hopefully good things will come.
Awesome. This has been great, Jesse. Thanks for breaking it down for us. Where can people find you if they want to connect or learn a little bit more?
Sure. So the GeniusLink blog is probably a great place to learn more, geniuslink.com/blog. And you can find me on both LinkedIn and Twitter. I believe it's /Jesse Lakes on LinkedIn and J Lakes, I believe, on Twitter.
Fantastic. All right. And everyone check out the GeniusLink blog. It's very good. It's one that I actually do read. And, Jesse has been on the show so many times. So check out those other episodes as well. Thanks a lot, man.
Oh, thank you. Absolutely.